Oh, it screwed up chat. Okay, hold on. Of course it screwed up. Oh, because it has the same title in the window. Awesome. Okay,
Huh?
let me fix chat. Make sure we loaded first. It has the same title in the window. There we go. All right, we're good.
Nice.
Let me fix. Yeah, it's gonna get all Inception-y here in a second. I'm gonna kill that.
That background is bad, man. That's cool.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's not what I want. Nope, that is not what I want. Okay. We're gonna play Fiddle with some settings.
Yeah, while you're doing it, my logo's cropped a little funny, but I don't really care if it's going to be a pain to fix.
Yeah, oh yeah, I will fix that actually. Technical difficulties, folks. We'll be starting off in just a minute here. Not that there's anyone here.
I was going to say, is someone watching it?
Just in case.
May as well throw out a tweet. Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah, it auto-tweets. There we go. All right, that's what I needed. All right, we can add Twitch chat back.
Okay.
It should show up any moment now.
It's looking right on my end. Are you talking about the stream?
I'm talking about the stream.
Oh,
Yeah, there it is. All right, cool. So we'll have chat there. Let me recrop you. Oh, you know what? I think I just fixed it. Yep, there we go. Cool. All right. Hey, so I think I'm going to do a count in this time so we have sort of like an official start.
That's fine.
Yeah. All right. You ready? Got everything in show notes? I don't really have notes. I just have my memory because I played this game a million times.
I'll get into why I had to do notes.
Fair enough.
When we start.
Well, yeah, if you haven't played the game multiple times, like, yes, you're going to need notes. You're going to need possibly a tinfoil hat as well.
That's not all I needed. All right.
All right. Let's count it in. 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to TVGP Game Club number 22 for Deus Ex Human Revolution. I am your, official host, the Hannah, and joining me today is the other Jay-Z.
Good evening, sir.
And conspicuously absent today is Nintendork327, Scott. He is actually currently acting as TVGP foreign ambassador to the country of England, which is to say one of our listeners from the UK is coming in and he's hanging out with him.
It's Moon, right?
Yeah, it's Moonpier.
He was on the Saints Rowcast.
Yeah, he was on the Saints Rowcast. It was a good time. Unfortunately, he can't join us. He's traveling, as is Scott. So it's just the Chicago contingent today.
That's us.
Yeah. So we played Deus Ex Human Revolution, which I've not made any sort of I've not hidden the fact that it's one of my favorite games.
We're going to have an interesting conversation.
That's what I'm told. Both you and Scott have sort of told me this. So Scott, apparently it's not a tragedy that he's missing this episode, although, of course, it's always a tragedy when we're missing a host. He is not a fan. He is really not a fan.
I don't know that I'd go that far, but it's definitely, like, I'm glad I played it. It's not my kind of game. It's got a lot of cool stuff. It does a lot of stuff right.
Yeah.
I'm never touching it again.
Fair enough. So, I mean, let's start off how we usually do. We're going to kick off with, what is this game? So it's Deus Ex Human Revolution. Came out August 23rd, 2011 in North America, August 25th, 2011 in the EU, and the 26th in Australia. It hit the 360, the PS3, Windows and OS X. OS X was actually, the release for that was handled by a completely different studio. It was Feral Interactive.
Huh. I had no idea this was out on OS X. That's cool.
Yeah, it's out on OS X, and actually it also hit OnLive as well, along with Wii U when the Director's Cut edition came out.
Is OnLive still around, or did that kind of fall on its face?
I don't know. I think it might be. In some form. Yeah, it's still around. It's just not as prominent as it used to be.
Okay.
Gaikai sort of took that over, and then Sony bought them. So
it's like it was a sort of a Netflix streaming for video games, sort of rotating titles and stuff, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Feral Interactive actually specializes in publishing games on Mac and Linux. So they've worked with Square Enix, 2K, Sega, Warner Brothers, Codemasters, tons and tons of games. Actually, their first Linux game was actually the port of XCOM Enemy Unknown, which is really cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Another one that everyone loved but me.
Yeah. Dude, I love that game, something fierce.
I'm going to give it another shot at some point here, but if they couldn't do it with Fallout Tactics, I'm not sure they're going to get me with XCOM.
Yeah, fair enough. So, this did have two special editions. One I didn't really list here. They had the augmented edition for the original game. So this was released in select European countries, Australia, New Zealand, and the US. Included a documentary, a motion comic, some trailers, the game soundtrack by Michael McCann, which, even if you don't like this game, go listen to this soundtrack. It is phenomenal.
That was one of the bright points I actually forgot to bring up.
Yeah.
In my when I was doing my notes.
Oddly enough, Michael McCann also did a portion of the music for XCOM Enemy Unknown. So we got some ties going on here.
Well, you guys should go grab a beer then and call me when you're done.
Wait, what?
Huh? No, not that.
All right. Yeah, not much about the augmented edition other than that. It came with some special stuff. It was basically oh look, it's the fancy box edition.
I think I'd like to see more motion comics. The X-Men one that Joss Whedon was involved in, I like a lot. Like, when it's done right, it's really cool, and it gives you a lot more freedom because you have a gigantic budget that you have to make back. So
yeah, that's true. I did like the motion comics they did for Metal Gear Solid on the PSP.
Metal Gear.
Yeah, well, I'm a sucker for Metal Gear anyway, so which is probably why I like this game so much. So the other edition that came out for this, and that's the edition I sort of half played for this playthrough, was the Director's Cut. So this was originally announced for the Wii U to make use of additional touchpad controls with the Wii U gamepad, and it was later announced that it would be coming out to PS3, 360, and PC. The cool thing they did for the PC version of Director's Cut was they offered I think it was like a $10 or $20 upgrade on Steam. And
yeah, I saw that. I don't know if it's
still.
I couldn't tell if it was still active. I mean, I suppose it doesn't matter because I probably picked this up at last year's holiday sale. So I got it for $5 anyway. I'm guessing. But
yeah.
I'm not sure that's still active, but it's cool.
Yeah, definitely. It was a really. That's the kind of promotion I like to see out of games like this. It's like, hey, there were some issues with the actual graphical enhancements on the PC. They weren't. They were enhanced, but not. There were some issues with textures. There's some issues with performance. But it was still the same game.
Thing that everyone loves CD Projekt so much for.
Yeah.
Because they'll just support a game for free and throw more stuff in, and at least for them. I don't know as much about Squeenix, but for them, it really, that's why people love them so much, and it gives them a little more leeway when you have egregious loading times or pop-in or stuff like that, because it's like, well, these guys are really cool. They helped us out. Let's give them time to make this better.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So the cool thing about Director's Cut, outside of just the Wii U special edition stuff, there was a couple things you look through walls with gamepad and stuff. There's interesting stuff going on with the gamepad. The two big things for me was it incorporated the Missing Link DLC directly into the campaign. So there's a point in the campaign where you basically raid a shipping vessel, and you go into a stasis chamber in this thing's cargo hold, and you lose a solid 3 days out of the game. In the original release of the game, it just went, okay, you're in the shipping container, and then you get to your destination, and that was it. They just sort of glossed over it. But apparently, lots of stuff happened in that time, and that's how they filled out the DLC. They utilized that chunk of time to tell more of the story.
How did they? Because we're going to get to this, but I did not get that far in this game.
I've never played it.
I wasn't going to ask about the DLC. I was going to ask, if this is a 3-day journey, why do you need a stasis pod? You're not going to Venus. Like,
it was more of a hideout thing. It was more of a keep him hidden thing.
And totally unconscious and unable to defend himself.
Yeah. Basically, go offline. Like since he's got all the augs and stuff, he has to go offline. Like, he's going to be expending energy otherwise.
Airplane mode.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. That brings up all sorts of questions about how he would travel on like commercial airlines.
We're going to need you to turn off your medullas.
Yes, sir. The sunglasses are very cool, but I need you to turn them off.
Swink.
Yeah. So the Director's Cut's a really cool addition. I'm really glad they did it, especially because of the improved boss fights. So in the first game, the original release, the boss fights were real, like, just straight up boss fights.
You don't say.
Yeah, they were actually farmed out to a separate company. I don't remember the name of the company that developed them, but they were like reaching crunch time, and they was like, we need someone to develop these, and they were just. It was the real low point of this game when it came out. Was the boss fights were just boss fights, and like it sounds like oh god, you got boss fights, big deal. But the beauty of the Deus Ex games is that you have so much choice and available options, and in the original release, if you did not specialize in combat, you couldn't get past those bosses. If you didn't heavily, especially that first boss fight, oh man, if you didn't heavily specialize in combat, you couldn't get past him. You had to rely on grenades,
which I had none of.
Yeah, which is a real problem. And you had to rely on mines if you had a couple of those, and just luck with any other weapons you might have.
Didn't have that either.
Yeah, so it gets real rough on that first boss fight. But if you survive past that, it's not too bad, because by the time you get to the second and third, like the later boss fights, you can purchase the Typhoon augment and just literally breeze your way through them.
That would have been handy. That's the big sort of shrapnel orb that you just expel from your chest cavity, right?
Yes.
It just fills the room with lead?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have used one of those.
Yeah. By the time you get to the second boss, you can have 2 of those, and they're down instantly.
That sounds great.
Yeah, it's real great.
Give me a cheat code for that. I will continue to play.
But the Director's Cut changed the entire boss encounter. It added, I never got past the first boss, or I got past the first boss in the Director's Cut, but the difference is night and day. There's like side rooms in the fight area. There's an upper area where you can go and hide and hit pot shots while you're up there. There's ducts you can crawl through to get to different areas. You can actually hack a turret in one room and carry it in front of you, and it will just annihilate the boss for you.
I really needed that.
Yeah, so if
I needed an annihilation machine.
You did. If you want to play this game, I really highly recommend the Director's Cut edition. Despite some of the graphical issues you might see on PC, it is definitely the better version of the game.
And make sure you like yellow.
Yes.
Before you fire this up.
Yeah, if you don't like a gold tint on everything, sorry, this isn't the game for you. It's real shiny and real gold. So, those are the special editions and re-releases of this game. So this was developed by Eidos Montreal, which sounds like, oh yeah, it's just Eidos. But interestingly enough, this was their first game.
Ever?
Yeah, this was Eidos Montreal Studios' first game ever.
Wow.
So they were established in 2007 when this game was announced. And they have since gone on to make the multiplayer for the Tomb Raider reboot, the mobile game Deus Ex: The Fall, 2014's Thief, Deus Ex Universe is currently in production, and Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Tell me Deus Ex Universe is not an MMO.
We don't know yet, actually. Okay. There's really not a lot of information out there on Deus Ex Universe.
This is a pretty big franchise to be handed to an unproven developer.
Well, so it wasn't necessarily unproven. They just sort of incorporated a bunch of like other. They had IDOS employees that got moved here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't like a brand new. It was just sort of like a studio reboot.
Okay.
You know, it's sort of the best way I can put it. So obviously they're based in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and like I said, they got 2 big games in the pipeline. They're making Rise of the Tomb Raider for Microsoft right now, and whatever the heck Deus Ex Universe ends up being. And this was published by Square Enix, and if you don't know who Square Enix is, you're probably watching the wrong show.
Yeah, how did you find us?
Yeah, I'm real curious. There'll be a survey afterwards. We'd like to get some demographic information on how we can reach you.
Next up, ads.
Yes. But yeah, no, it's Square Enix, Final Fantasy, etc., etc. Big publisher, big game, did really well for them. So let's go back in time a little bit here and talk about the reception this game got. I was amazed. I took a look at Metacritic and discovered that this game didn't really get a single negative review.
On Metacritic?
On Metacritic. Wow. I'm not talking user reviews. I'm talking industry reviews across all 3 versions of the original release. The only version that got even middling reviews was the PC version, and that was from outlets I've never heard of.
Oh, okay.
So IGN gave it a 9 out of 10, stating that few games encourage and reinforce creative problem solving and the importance of your own moral compass the way Human Revolution does. Destructoid, who I normally disagree with pretty heavily, I'm not a fan of that site, but they gave it a 9.5 out of 10. Saying that Human Revolution is mindful of the huge weight of the Deus Ex name carries, and I am thrilled to report that it lives up to the daunting demands that such a pedigree entails. Which is a heck of a sentence, and really, you can sum this game up. I mean, Deus Ex is a storied name. Mm-hmm. Maybe the second one, not so much, but the original Deus Ex has weight. It was, one of the games in the late 90s. I think it was even in that cadre of games from 1998. That massive year that had Half-Life and every other important game ever.
I believe it was.
Yeah. And Joystick gave it a 4.5 out of 5, saying that how many games would allow you to complete mission objectives out of order, or even before they've been placed in the conspiracy plot's to-do list. Which is something I completely forgot about this game. You can actually complete a mission before you even know it's a mission.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it keeps track of all this stuff no matter what you have in your actual quest tracker. So if there's 2 dudes you need to kill and you already killed them just because you wanted to kill them and you find that mission, congratulations.
It's like found money.
Yeah, you finished the mission. Good job.
you found a 20 in your cybernetic trench coat or whatever.
Indeed. So this game, according to VG Charts, sold 3.19 million copies worldwide between PS3, PC, and 360. And this does not include digital sales, which I'm sure this game has been $5 on Steam more times than I can count. So
I was gonna say that seems like an awfully low number for the amount of people that love this game. But yeah, if you're not including, at what point? And I guess there's got to be a cutoff at some point, and maybe 2011, 2012 is around that time. Mm-hmm. I would think it'd be earlier. At what point do these sites have to start counting digital copies, or is it just not possible?
So Steam doesn't release their numbers.
That'll do it.
I think they just publish them out to the publisher and the developer. So it's up to them if they want to release the numbers or something like that. Even if they even do provide those numbers, which I think they would have to. I mean,
anyway you slice it, they'd say, okay, we got a check from Steam for this much. They take this cut, so you can do the math, I'd bet. But
yeah, exactly.
That's weird that you don't see more of that. You would think if a company did really well, they would be shouting it from the mountaintops.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think they see the Steam sales as sort of almost cheating to pump your numbers up or something. Who knows? There could be a myriad of reasons why companies don't release those numbers. But I'm a data dork. I want to know all that stuff. So come on, let's do it.
I look at that usage. Steam has sort of the graph showing number of users online and what they're playing and what's popular and stuff. I look at that way more often than is sane for a rational human to do.
Yeah, it's pretty great though. So continuing our time travel here, so normally when we do a Game Club game, we're usually pretty wowed by the list of games that came out around the same time as the game we're playing. I have never been more underwhelmed by a list of games on this show.
Well, there's a couple of biggies, but they're re-releases.
So yeah, there's biggie re-releases which I didn't even put in our show notes because like they're re-releases. Of course,
I'm talking about the ones in your notes.
Oh really? Which
Yeah.
ones? Which ones are re-releases?
Bastion and Limbo, weren't those Xbox arcade games to start?
Oh no, those were on. Oh, you know what? They might have been. I feel like they were PC first though. I could be wrong though.
Oh, you keep going. I'll look that up.
Yeah. Either way, I put them on there just because it's interesting that they were around the same time as this game. It's sort of like, oh, that was already that long ago? Great. So, when you're talking multi-platforms, the only real games that came out around this time that would even come close to competing with something like Deus Ex were Call of Juarez, The Cartel,
Ooh.
Catherine,
Uh-huh.
and El Shaddai. What is the subtitle on that one again? Ascension of the Metatron?
Weird. Yeah, that's the one. Ascension of the Metatron.
So I remember, being in the TVGP community at this point, and someone had posted this. I played the demo for El Shaddai, and it was pretty interesting, but not enough to get me to buy it.
It looks weird as hell.
It looks super weird. And whatever. So 360 had Gears of War 3 come out in September.
That's a big one.
That's a sizable
really
one.
well.
Yeah.
3 wasn't great, but 2 did real well.
Yeah, I mean, you still got sales, though. I mean, based on the good word of mouth from 2.
Mm-hmm.
And PS3 had Disgaea 4, which, niche market, not really. It might cross over with the Deus Ex market, but maybe not. Both are sort of RPG-ish. One's much more. One's much less. And Resistance 3, which was also, it's a big exclusive for Sony.
Is it?
It's not Uncharted.
I wouldn't put it up against Gears of War if I was playing my release schedule, that's for sure. Although, I guess those are sort of... they're mutually exclusive. You're not competing with a game when they're both console exclusive.
Exactly. So...
Bastion and Limbo. Bastion... Now, this is just Bastion. I don't know about Limbo. But I know they were kind of grouped together.
Yeah.
Bastion was published in July 2011 for XBLA.
Okay, so it came out the month later for PC.
Right, and in August on Windows.
Got it. Okay.
Not really a re-release, but kind of.
Yeah, sort of a delayed, timed exclusive for Xbox. But still, the praise that game got, I know a lot of people played it.
I played an ass ton of Bastion.
Yeah, and I can't wait to play it again on Vita. Oh, that's going to be real good.
That's a perfect Vita game.
Yeah, it's coming too. That was really like there was nothing outside of this game.
Well, the middle of summer.
Yeah, I hit at the perfect time. I remember seeing it, and I got it day one because I was just like, well, nothing else is coming out that I want to play. I'm going to get this, and I beat it in a week.
Isn't Catherine the weird puzzle block dating sim, and the special edition came with like a pair of panties or something? It was super weird.
It was a pizza box and something else.
A pizza box full of panties?
Something like that. It was it was real weird. But I know a bunch of our community members love that one. So.
Oh, all right.
I've had chat settings sitting up in chat for like this whole time.
Oops.
Completely forgot about it. Sorry, guys. All right. So we've got. So there was a. You want to talk about the marketing thing that happened with this?
Well, spoilers, I did not finish this game.
Yeah, me neither.
So.
Well, not recently.
Yeah, so in the interest of being able to have something to say when you're monologuing at the end here, because I went to Wikipedia to read the plot synopsis, and I made it I made it to the end of the first paragraph, and there were like 4.5 more, and I went, ooh.
Yeah, it gets real weird.
So I looked out, I just thought, all right, well, I'm already here, I'll just check the whole thing. Apparently there was an issue with GameStop, which I didn't know about at the time. I know, weird. I'll just read this piece. GameStop came under fire from critics when customers discovered that content had been removed from the original packaging of the game. GameStop had instructed employees to remove coupons for free access to Human Revolution on OnLive, stating that it promoted a competitor of one of its subsidiaries, which had bought like 4 months earlier. Mm-hmm. So people lost their poops. They were livid. And so the sort of recompense isn't the word I'm looking for. Is it? Maybe.
Yeah.
The worst sorry gift was GameStop would give customers a $50 gift card in store to those who purchased the game for PC prior to August 26th and who brought the issue up to their staff. So you had to know that they were doing it. You had to go in and complain, and then they go, "Okay, well, here's your $50." Like,
It's still $50.
Still a lot of money.
Yeah.
But it was like, okay, it's. I mean, when Madden screwed up, everyone got an email. Like GameStop, it doesn't say either way, but it's not really their MO to go, "Hey, everyone, we totally screwed up. Come in, we'll cut you checks." Like,
and at that point in their lifespan, I don't know if they were really keeping track of their customers that closely.
All I got to do is get the GameStop membership card.
Yeah.
They'll ask you about it for 20 minutes every time you go in.
So if I remember, so this is from my experiences working at GameStop. I remember that being tied to nothing but a phone number, and I don't know exactly when that switched over, but I don't know if it was before or after 2011.
Huh, okay.
Yeah, so that was, back in the day, you could literally enter a phone number in, and that was all you needed. You didn't need anything else to get their membership or anything.
They weren't charging for it?
Oh, no, they charged for it, but like all you had to do was like have your buddy's phone number.
But it was just like it was a flag. It wasn't like, because I worked at Blockbuster.
Yeah.
And we could pull up the last 6 months of everything that you did. It didn't have any history. It was just, this person gets the discount, this one doesn't.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, it was real simple.
Okay.
So, if we had to say if this was top of the pile or overlooked, it was on the top of a very short pile.
Yeah, and it did real well to me. This still feels kind of like a niche game, but it's really gonna hit hard for all the people who were still fighting to play PC games in '98.
Yeah,
because it was not easy.
No,
it's night and day from even in '98, and that was kind of getting towards the end of it being difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Like, God, at 92, 93, I mean, it was just, don't even bother.
You better know command line.
You better know command. Well, you'd have to use command line to run the game to start with.
Yep.
And sometimes games just didn't work. Yeah. Okay, I guess this one's done.
Yep, things got real different in PC gaming over the last 20 years or so, and it's a good change.
Oh yeah. But my point is that the people who liked Deus Ex had to be technically focused to be able to get the thing to run, and so that dovetails with the themes of the game. Not to mention, when you have to work that hard to get something working, you're going to have a certain amount of investment with that. So the people that this hits for, I'm sure it really hits for.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm not one of those people.
Yeah, fair enough. I never played the original. I wasn't PC gaming until early 2000s, so this sort of passed me by. But
I went back and played it probably 3 or 4 years ago. I don't know. Maybe I got it as part of... Maybe I got a bundle when I bought this one. It is ugly as the devil's face.
It's not pretty.
Skybox is just like dark green. There's some lights off in the distance. Go, you're on up here.
Actually, fun fact about the original Deus Ex Skybox. If you look closely, it's supposed to be New York in the first level. You'll notice that the Twin Towers are conspicuously absent in 1998.
They knew.
Well, it was part of the game's plotline that they had been attacked previously, but it was sort of one of those like moments when everyone realized it after 9/11.
Weird.
Yeah.
Inside job.
If we did titles.
Thanks, Adam Jensen.
Okay, so let's talk about this game. I'm going to let you go first because I'm sure you have some stuff to say, and I have plenty to say. So...
Well, the first thing I want to bring up, and I'm just going to wedge it in because there's no way... This would be something I would be typing in the chat as a show title, and you guys would get to the end of the shoe and go, "What? Where did he get this?" Deus Ex HR, Payroll Simulator 2027. This HR is... You had typed it in chat one day, and I was like, Deus Ex HR, huh?
Yes.
That's a lot of termination paperwork.
Yes. Well, when you kill as many people as Adam Jensen does... When I play, there's a lot of paperwork.
Okay, we're copacetic there then.
Yeah.
So we got our first hour takeaways and just kind of general thoughts. You can move the camera during cutscenes.
Yes.
Which it's still sort of locked to you, but at least you feel like you have some sort of agency.
Mm.
I feel weird that I keep bringing this up month after month. I didn't think this was this big a thing for me, but apparently it is. To the point where I literally drew a thumbs up next to the note on my paperwork. I drew a thumb like, yay.
Nice.
That credit sequence is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like this slow pans and ultra zoom ins, and some of it looks like it could be real footage, or it's just real good CGI of them sort of, because you start out, I mean, it's a first-person / third-person shooter for anyone who doesn't know.
Yeah.
And you start out as just a dude. I don't think you're anti-augment, or maybe you are.
Well, you're not. So the story of Adam Jensen starts, he was on the Detroit police force, and there was an incident where he sort of made a decision that was unpopular. And I forget exactly what it was. I'd have to double check his backstory. But basically, he was ousted from the Detroit PD. And as you start the game, you are working private security for a company that's making these augments, which are basically bionic limbs and brain implants and things like that to improve the human race. And you are working private security for the scientists of this company.
And one of the other things I noticed, these scientists make absolutely zero attempt to make these things even look remotely like they're human body parts.
Oh yeah, none at all.
They got rivets in them and like ribbing and stuff, and they got claws and
Some
it's like
sweet carbon fiber print.
Everything is carbon fiber.
Yes,
yeah,
and hexagons. Don't forget hexagons.
Well, you gotta have hexes.
Indeed.
So yeah, that kind of cracked me because they're taking you on this little tour, and they show you the typhoon. Was it?
Yeah, it's a very Half-Life sort of thing. They just sort of parade you through, and you meet literally almost every major character that's gonna affect the game.
Yeah, I made a note about that, and it's holy exposition, Batman.
Oh yeah,
because it's well done. It's cool because it's very Half-Life because they're walking you through a science lab where tests are going on as just conveniently as you happen to be walking by them, and they're trying to get some game mechanics over to you. You'll be like, hey, you can get this later.
Yeah.
But holy moly, it was a lot of exposition at once. But it was a very cool sequence. Yeah. So yeah, you basically you're working security for these people. And you get sent into... Or no, the lab gets attacked, right?
Oh, yeah.
Lab gets attacked.
You're in the middle of a conversation with your boss, and something goes haywire.
And you... Basically, apparently, they're cool with you just straight up shooting people who are coming into their building.
Yep.
To be fair, they came in guns blazing, but... so you shoot all these guys up, and you're just a regular dude. And then you get to... your love interest gets popped... by an augmented dude who's totally all auged out.
He's basically a head on a robot.
Yeah, he's like Mecha Hitler.
Sort of. That's actually a really apt comparison. I like that.
Yeah. And he whips you against a wall, and then I think he shoots you in the face.
Yeah.
And that's when they cut to the credit
temple.
sequence of them doing the $6 million man thing to
Oh
you.
god, and it's the best. It's so cool.
It's real good. Like if you get a second, I know a lot of people listen to podcasts at work. But if you're somewhere where you can take a minute and watch something on YouTube, find a high def version of that credit sequence because it's just fantastic.
Really great.
And when you're done, it sort of flashes to. They made some stupid comment as it faded to black because they have to.
Of course.
And when it fades back up, you're in super orange Detroit, and you're walking into the corporation again. And you're just all ogged out, and he says something. You have these weird sort of... They look almost like, what was it, Six in Star Trek? She had those weird things right next to her eye sockets.
Oh, yeah.
Like those weird sort of pointy arrow things.
Like the remnants of the Borg implants.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah.
And he says some snippy line, and then the shades flip out of those.
Yeah, and it's awesome.
Like, it's like, did these things just come out of his cheeks? Because there's no... these frames are so tiny.
Yeah.
Unless these things just slide back into his temples, there's no way these things have anywhere to be. Unless they're like nano machines or something.
It's probably nano machine. If we've learned anything from Metal Gear Solid, it's that if you can't explain it with actual science, it's probably just nano machines.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, I did pick up Revengeance. It's on sale for $6.
Very nice.
I think it's today only.
All right.
So yeah, the other two things I had from the beginning were, you go up to, I'm sorry, three things. You go up to the penthouse of the CEO,
Yeah.
and it's set in Detroit,
Yep.
and he's got this giant TV on the wall showing like 9 or 10 news feeds, but the main picture is this baseball field. And my thought was, well, if baseball's on and it's cold out, and baseball is what they're showing on TV. Clearly, it's October because the Tigers would be playing and the Lions would not be worth watching.
You bring up a good point.
Well, although this year, who knows? So anyway, you talk to him, and then you guys he sends you off on a mission to go investigate something. Somebody's hacked into the company.
Yeah, so the first major mission in the game. Your goal is so there's these anti-augment groups. I forget exactly. Purity First or something like that.
Okay.
And so they are all about we're humans. We should not be using technology to rise above our human faults and natures and et cetera. Because when you're talking in the world of Deus Ex, you're not just talking physical, of course, if someone has both of their arms amputated, of course you want to try and replace those. That's a horrible thing that happened to that person. And you want to give them that level of movement back. Of course you do. But these people sort of believe that, well, maybe you don't.
And
there's
but maybe that you can give people arms, but don't turn them into Colossus.
Don't give them superpowers along with it. And the other thing is, there's not just physical augments in Deus Ex. There's also what they call social and mental augments. And there's actually a really great mission later in the game where you have to work with someone with these type of augments, and you can get these augments in the game. These are like power. And so basically, the skill tree in the game is unlocking all the different augment software that you have available to you.
I liked how they did that, where it was you had, like, they showed you, it was kind of like a Diablo style character sheet.
Yeah.
Where the certain augments were related to certain things you would replace. Like, you could see enemies' vision cones because you could put, like, new eyes in or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the way they did that.
Yeah, I feel like you're just upgrading your hardware. It's pretty great.
A lot of great presentation in this game.
Yeah, the menus I really like too.
I liked the menus. I did not love the inventory Tetris.
Yeah, inventory Tetris is never fun. I wish they wouldn't have done that. But it's sort of like, okay, well, how else do you do it? Otherwise,
it worked in Resident Evil. Yeah.
Did it?
No, it didn't. It was functional in Resident Evil.
There you go. That's more the word we're looking for.
Yeah.
But so, like, the Purity First people are they have taken one of your manufacturing facilities hostage, and you're trying to, so this is the manufacturing facility that's developing a weapon for the Department of Defense called the Typhoon, which is basically, as I described earlier in the show, it's you hit a button and just bullets fly out of in this case it would be your chest, but it's like the chassis of all of your augmentations attach onto, so you just become like a spinning wheel of death.
Well, it's Frozen Orb from Diablo 2.
Yeah. Actually,
I'm just channeling the 90s tonight.
Yeah, that's really close to what it is. So this is just a military weapon that you're supposed to be manufacturing, and they've heard about it, and they want to stop you from manufacturing it, so they invade the plant, take it over. Your job as security person, and this is where the themes get really cool. Like, David Seraph, the owner of the company, the guy you keep meeting with in the penthouse, has called the police force and been like, "Hey, keep your guys back. Let me send my dude in first."
Right.
And it's got it's just that corporatism in America thing, just like riding over the top of the themes.
This is what got me, because you guys get in a helicopter and he takes you to the manufacturing plant, and one of the thoughts I had was, there's no way that there's that many lights on in Detroit. I don't care if it's 15 years from now. There are no cars on the street if I know Detroit. But he goes with you. Like, why is the CEO accompanying you into the hot zone?
Yeah, that is a little strange.
But he drops you off over there. The only other thing that I thought was annoying, sort of at the beginning of the game, is the tutorials are a Navi from Legend of Zelda level of annoying, as far as going, you're supposed to play this stealth, you're supposed to play this stealth, it's better if you play stealth. And to me, it was like, whenever I see better with Kinect on an Xbox game, I go,
Is it though?
I don't know. I don't know. But that was my jumping off stuff. What did you think of that first part?
So I'm going to harken back to when I first played this.
That's probably good.
Yeah, so when I first played this, it was sort of a pickup on a whim. Obviously, I had heard of Deus Ex. I think I tried to play it at least once by that point and never made it through. But, I like the idea of it. And I got into it, and before I knew it, so I got off. I was working a job where I was just straight 9 to 5, just grunt work, computer work. So I was literally in front of a computer all day that day. I got home, I was like, I'll buy this game. And I didn't want to be in front of a computer that day. But what happened was I started playing the game, and 6 hours later, I'm like,
oh God, I got to be back at work in 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was one of those.
Something
about this game just got its hooks into me real deep. It was just I played it in just the right way to like be able to get past that first boss without a whole lot of difficulty. I mean, it was a little annoying, but you find some grenades, you chuck them at them, you take care of things. Eventually, I got past it, and once you get past that first boss, this whole game sort of cracks open. It's a real slow burn. It's a real slow burn, which is really one of its weaknesses. But once you crack this game open, and once you can do whatever you want in this game, it really becomes sort of like oh man, I can do whatever I want in this game.
I would have liked that. That would have been cool. There were sort of glimpses of that in the little bit of time you get to spend in Detroit before you run into that first boss.
Yeah. So you get a little bit of that. You come back to Detroit eventually, and you get to do a lot more exploring. But just like the little things you find, like you can open a gate to an apartment complex and just be like, oh, I'm just going to hack this thing. One of the tips for anybody playing this the first time: hack everything. Even if you have the code, even if you have the key, hack it, because you will get experience for it. And a ton of experience is locked away in those hacking mini games.
Provided no one is actively looking at you. I got shot in the spine a whole lot.
Oh, yeah.
Particularly by policemen. They aren't a real big fan of you just walking right into the front door of the DPD.
Oh, you went that route with that, huh?
Here's a terminal. I'm going to sit down in the, like in any other game or any TV show, it would be like a pit. It's like in Dexter, where whenever you walk into the cop shop, there's all these desks, there's always a prostitute getting booked at one of them.
Yep.
I walked up, first computer, I'm like, hey guys, what's going on? Like, just hacking away while I'm talking to them. And I was perforated.
Yeah, they do not take kindly to that. So you want to make sure you're not being viewed while you're hacking. Speaking of that particular, just out of curiosity, what approach did you take to infiltrating the police?
Actually, I got pretty talky.
Oh, okay.
When I first went there, I had when I started playing this game, I wanted to play it the way that I like to play Fallout, which is to talk your way out of everything you can.
Yeah, you can do that pretty well in this game.
And I did. I was doing pretty good. I don't know. I guilt tripped the dude at the front desk to let me in.
Oh, that's the best.
And then
I feel so bad for the guy, but yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of a d-bag move. But he'll never talk to me again, but he was going to let me in the building. Yeah. And that's when I did hey guys, I'm going to hack this computer here, don't mind me. And then I reloaded.
Yep. And because of course you did.
Yeah. Well, it didn't give me a choice. I was dead. Real good load times on this, by the way.
Yeah, especially if you got a nice machine.
Yeah. And then I crawled through ducts and made it up to to an office and found what I needed and broke into a couple of offices and called it a day. But yeah, I started out pretty talky.
Yeah, that's one of the things I noticed at first was just the amount of interaction you had that wasn't combat in this game. And like when you do get into combat, it gets real dicey real quick because despite being mostly robot, you're pretty squishy.
I don't know if they're just that good at aiming for the soft spots, but yeah. I mean, 2 bullets, that's it a lot of times.
Yeah. So my first impressions of this game were, wow, that starting area was real interesting. I wonder how this is going to end. Oh, badly. Okay. All right. Yeah. So I'm dead. Oh, I'm not? Oh. And then the credit sequence starts. That was like that opening sequence I always loved. Especially when you can decide whether to go like, because you don't have to kill anybody in that first area. You can sneak past literally everybody if you do it right. It's a little more difficult, but you can totally do it.
Huh. I did not go that route.
Funny story. When I first played the game, I wanted to go for that. So there's 3 achievements in this game that I did get on the original. I did not get on the newest version. Let me look these up here really quick. But they are called. There's one that's for stealth, one for beating on the hardest level, and one for never killing anyone. So on a single playthrough in the original game, I achieved all 3 of those.
So you never got seen.
I was
you
never
didn't kill a person.
Didn't kill a single person,
and it's as hard as it gets.
And it was on the hardest difficulty.
Wow.
That is like one of my only in gaming. Like that's one of the only like pride I have of achievements. I'm like, yeah, I did that.
That's something to brag about.
Yeah, the stealth achievement is called Foxes to the Hounds, which is awesome because
is that a Metal Gear reference?
Oh yeah, Foxhounds, sir.
You're way more into it than I am. I gotta ask.
Fair enough.
I mean, no, I was asking for the audience. I want to make sure everyone's in on the joke.
There you go. Yeah, that's it. That's the thing. And God, that was such a tough playthrough because I died a few times. There's a few times where I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna sneak right." Oh, there he is. Hi. Yeah, and you die quick. I really can't stress that enough. You die super quick in this game.
And the other thing is, I don't remember if there were health upgrades that you could spend your XP points on, which I went because it's XP or it's experience points.
Yeah,
it's not an ATM machine, people.
Praxis points is what actually levels you up, though. Which is pretty cool.
You get XP points until you get a Praxis point.
Yeah,
I didn't. Maybe there was a way to do it. Was one of those upgrades that you could spend a Praxis point on just a straight health upgrade?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a couple of those.
Then it's the other side of it. Then is there are so many other augments that to me need to be prioritized ahead of that.
Yeah.
That it's like I can't take this right now. I can barely hack a calculator.
Yeah, there's some hacking ones. I forget which ones they are exactly, but there's literally an entire branch of the hacking tree that's useless.
It's probably the one that that lets you nuke people. Because you can nuke a node and it just converts right away.
Oh, no, that can be useful because it instantly converts. There's one that like just shows you a piece of information that you see anyway in the interface.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's real dumb, and I don't know why I left it in there.
What level the node is or something
Yeah,
like
something like that. It's just like, but I know that.
But the basic hacking stuff, like, you can hack level 2 stuff now, you can hack level 3 stuff now. You need that right away.
Yes, if you want to get the most out of this game, you need to play it that way. I think. A lot of people will play it straight combat and get everything they need out of this game. This game takes me forever to play because I have to hack everything.
Well, but everything starts out, I mean, they throw you out on the street in Detroit, and almost everything you run into is level 3 or level 4 hacks already. It's like, because you know there's stuff hidden behind all these places. If I want to get this stuff, I got to prioritize hacking. That's got to be my first thing.
Yeah. But yeah, so as far as, let's sort of try to get us back on track here.
Yeah.
First hour there's no track here at all. But my first hour takeaways for this game were really first 6 hour takeaways for this game were, where has this game been all my life? And I immediately fell in love. It wasn't rational. I started, rationalizing some of the game's flaws immediately. So I'm not a trusted source on whether or not a single person will enjoy this game. All I know is I love this game.
Combat feels okay.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not awesome. It's even a little weirder with using your right mouse button to... you hold right mouse button to stay behind cover, and then you hit W to stand up and sort of shoot over the thing. It felt kind of weird. But
yeah, it's a little strange on mouse and keyboard, but I get used to it eventually.
The shooting itself feels good.
Yeah.
Especially that Trank sniper rifle.
Oh, God.
Just like puff.
Yeah, it's like a blowgun. You're just like...
Yeah.
So let's move on to some of your favorite moments and some of the better features of the game. What are some of your moments here?
These are sort of all over the place. I didn't really have... when I just looked at Steam while we were on here, I played it for 10 hours. But I made it a fifth through the game. So that tells you how much I was beating my head against that boss.
Yeah.
When you're going up to meet your CEO, the elevator panel has a logo on it, and it's Elevato Soft. It's like this is what you did. This read better in Japanese, guys? Because this is pretty on the nose.
It very well may have. Ooh, can't talk today. That's not good.
Was it the purist fronts?
Purity first.
Purity first. They've got graffiti up all over the place.
Yeah.
And I was on board with these guys. I was like, you know what? I'm willing to listen to you. I'm not sure that being able to, punch through a rebar-filled wall is going to outweigh what you have to say, but okay, I'll hear you out. And then I saw one of the graffiti pieces said, reject the metal.
You can't reject
the
metal.
You never reject the metal.
No, you don't. You just can't.
And from that point on, they all had to die.
Yeah. I love the parallels between the auto industry and the augmentation industry in this.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
And it was so subtle, I didn't pick up on it until you just said that. But
yeah.
I mean, it feels like Detroit because it's a company town, manufacturing,
Yeah, I mean, and it's still like, I mean, you see some of the civilians you run across, it's still roughly the same, population. It's, working class people. But instead of building a car, they're building these next generation, basically bionic weapons.
Servos, whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's so subtle, and it's just, if you're not looking for it, you almost won't see it. But
it feels right.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely does. It's just like, instead of Ford, it's Seraph.
Yeah. What is it, Seraph backwards? Ferris? No, it doesn't work.
Nope.
But, it's Detroit really felt like the way... When they let you out into Detroit, that's what I wanted the New Vegas Strip to be in Fallout.
Not just a couple of buildings.
Not just 4 empty buildings in the middle of the desert. Like, I wanted a bustling city with skyscrapers and stuff, and people who were, they weren't just repeating stuff, or they all had their own. I mean, I know it's cliche, and they say, when Oblivion came out, all these people have their own day-to-day stuff. Well, yeah, their AI marches them down the road and marches them back at night. Yeah. But these people that you run across all felt like they were real people.
Yeah. If you wander into the wrong alley, the gang members will shoot you.
I know. They're real good. They're real good at shooting, too.
Yes, they are.
I overheard a conversation. This was actually, I had it later in my notes, but I overheard a conversation about these 2 guys who were talking about a dogfighting ring.
Yeah.
And the guy was like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna get my pit bull all augmented out, and he's these giant jaws, and he's just gonna tear everyone apart." And the other guy goes, "Dogmentation." And I feel like if I walked by someone doing that, I would have to stop and shake their hand.
Absolutely, that's fantastic.
It's been a long time since I laughed at it. Well, because that was the thing. There was a billion of these little throwaway. It would only happen if you just happen to be... Rather, I mean, it would happen if you were walking by there or not.
Yeah.
Because these guys are just having a conversation. And they're talking about pitbull fighting, and this guy makes a dumb pun. And it's like, well, yeah, that's probably... Yeah, I can see dudes doing that.
Fantastic.
I'm going to skip that one. But I will say, loading screen recaps, a la this, and the Batman games, and... Yeah, the
Metal Gear Solid does them as well.
Okay. Oh, well, I bet Metal Gear Solid needs them for sure.
Oh, yeah.
The loading screens all give you sort of a recap of the last major plot point and what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And I think all games, at least all plot-driven games, I mean, you don't need that for Spelunky, but any you died. That's how Spelunky
A lot.
Yeah. You were nibbled to death by a bat.
There you go.
I think all games should have that because it's so valued. Because honestly, I would have given Deus Ex maybe 2 play sessions because I did right at the start of Game Club.
Yeah.
Like we always do, we start off strong and then wait 3.5 weeks and then cram it at the end.
Yep.
But if it didn't have those, I don't think I would have come back to it. And I mean, because I had maybe 2.5 hours, I wouldn't have made it to 10 because I would have went, I'm not starting over. I'm not going to a wiki to remember what's happening.
Yeah.
Because I could barely figure it out anyway, mind you. And that was before the super weird stuff started happening.
Oh yeah, you didn't even get close to the craziness.
That Wikipedia plot page reads like stereo instructions. It reads like Game of Thrones, because it's just, all right, here's a guy, guy's dead. Here's a guy, guy's dead. This guy didn't want this guy around, so now he's dead. Like, wow. But those are all the good things I could take away from my limited sort of experience. So I will let you now enlighten me as to the dozens of hilarious things I missed.
Oh god, not even hilarious, just fantastic things you missed. So, you missed the entirety of China.
You go to China?
You go to Hangsha, China.
Is that a real place?
Is it? Let's find out. Let me find out.
Maybe not. Maybe they couldn't get the licensing for Hong Kong or something.
It might be, yeah, probably. So it is a densely populated island off the coast of Shanghai in China.
Oh, all right.
So, yeah, I think it is a real place. I don't know if it's necessarily densely populated now, but...
Densely populated seems a little bit redundant when you're talking about China, but...
Yeah. But it definitely, it very much reminded me of Midgar in Final Fantasy VII, because it's literally got a plate on top of it.
Oh.
Yeah, well, not in like the same way, but it's like a 2-tier city.
No, I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm really bummed out that I didn't get to see it.
It's pretty great. And like the first thing you do in that section is you infiltrate a crime scene that like a private security company is guarding, and you have to like find stuff. It's real great. Hangsha is like just that. It's so much better than Detroit because of the type of like missions and stuff you get. Like that's like if you like, I wish they would have brought that like sooner, because it is such a good chunk of the game, and it's such a good, so many great side missions and so many cool characters, and just the Hive, and like you do this
Hive.
It's a club. And it's literally just like the front of it is just all LCD screens that are just going crazy. Like it's check it out like on YouTube, or like keep playing if you can to get to that point, because the Hive is one of the coolest areas in the game, and one of the greatest, like one of my favorite side missions in the game ever. You're helping the pilot of the plane helicopter thing, Malik, on somebody for something they did to a friend of hers. And they utilize those LCD screens on the front of the club to great effect.
Okay.
Right. It's just that whole section, and that's where you start really getting a lot of your powers and stuff like that. At that point, what you really need the slow fall system that they have. I forget what it's called, but it's just like you fall off a building, and normally you would just die. But if you have this augment, you float down in a bubble of light and land softly, and just it's so very Terminator 2.
I would have preferred an Iron Man sort of fist on the ground landing, but okay, that'll work.
It's that, but much gentler. It's not like he's slamming into it. He's like just landing softly, doing the one hand tap, like you do.
Dimebag's got a question in chat.
Mm-hmm.
Do the cutscenes take away from the experience of the game? Because sometimes I felt like there's a director saying action when it happens. I mean, in general, that don't happen sometimes. I feel like it was pretty seamless here.
Yeah, it wasn't 100% seamless. It was... There are some moments where you suddenly get thrown into a cutscene when you're not expecting it. I will say that is... It's not an issue, but it is definitely something that happens.
You know what? You're right. I'm thinking of the ones where it's sort of... It does that. It did it in Doom 3, was the first game I could remember that did it, where the camera would pull out of the back of your head, because you were already in first-person perspective. It would just pull out of the back of your head real smooth, and then sort of hang over your shoulder. So it wasn't a cutscene, it was more of a Half-Life, you're in this scene sort of thing.
Yeah.
They did both of them in Deus Ex, where it's just the abrupt smash cut to a different picture on the screen. And yeah, those were jarring. You're right.
Yeah, they can be a little bit jarring. But yeah, like Hangsha is great. There's a really, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but there's a really great plot twist when you have to go to Montreal at one point. And
wait.
Yeah, you actually go to Montreal.
IDOS Montreal put the game in Montreal at some point?
Yes, because why wouldn't they? It's a really tiny section of the game. I think it was supposed to be more, but some of it got cut.
Well, because the programmers all probably were putting themselves in and writing themselves witty lines that weren't witty because they're programmers and not writers.
Actually, funnily enough, the place you visit in Montreal is completely empty. It's like it's the Picus Network, the news network. If you remember from the beginning, there's a woman reporting on the news. Her name's Eliza Cassan. She actually becomes a major character later in the game.
Yeah, I saw a lot of those sort of hollow papers.
Yeah.
I think Cooper wants in.
I think he does. I think I'm going to go let him in really quick because otherwise he's going to do something silly. Excuse me, folks. Hey, buddy, are we going to get you some documentations? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you got to meddle that dog up, man.
Yeah, he's a little Cooper, isn't he? He doesn't need any augmentations. He can already jump like 6 feet in the air.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, that's Jack Russell's.
There's
Anyway,
a perch on your shoulder.
Huh?
There's a perch on your shoulder like a parrot.
Oh, he's like right. I don't know if you can actually see him on screen, but he's like right here.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yep. We're getting the full knobs treatment.
Of course. So yeah, this game gets so much better the further you get into it, and just I feel bad because I wanna talk more about the story, but I don't want to spoil it for you because you should really finish it.
Well, I'm gonna finish it. It was my closing thought, but if I don't, it's still installed on my hard drive.
Yeah.
I haven't put the nail in it yet,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm thinking about it. If I do that, I said doo-doo. This would be a prime Let's Play game for me.
Yeah.
I want to watch someone who's good at this, not get shot in the spine every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And play this like it's not necessarily supposed to be played because there's a billion ways to play through it.
That's my favorite thing about it. I was about to get to that.
But yeah, to do it however they want to, but to do it effectively.
Yes.
And even if I do finish the game, I may still do that.
Yeah. So that is the other big thing for me in this game is not just like the story and the plot, the amount of choice you have, and it's not like choice in like a sense of a Telltale game where it's going to alter the story in really huge ways. Like there's some stuff that'll alter the story in subtle ways, but when you're talking with a prequel, there's only so much you can do. I'm talking like the amount of choice.
Oh, that's right. It's a prequel.
Yes. So I'm talking like the moment-to-moment choices you have to make. Like, okay, there is a camera and a turret at the end of that hall. There's a computer over there. If you don't cross that hall at the right moment, they're going to see you. You're going to get shot. You're going to set off an alarm. But if you do it just right, you can get in that room. You can hack that. And if you have the right hacking levels, you can turn that turret on the enemies. You can completely shut that camera off, and you can just waltz down that hallway like nothing happened. Or you can throw a grenade down the end of it and just blow both of them up and keep on going on your way real quick.
Yeah.
Or
the subtle route.
Or if you're panicking and just looking all over for an alternate route, you may actually find one through the ducts.
Oh yeah, I have yet to find an actual building in real life that has a man-size duct in it. They're all over the place in Detroit, man.
Oh yeah.
I've been looking in the wrong place. You can just crawl through everything.
Yeah, they're tiny in Chicago because we use kids to build them, but Detroit.
Well, did they also have electrified sewers though? What was that about?
That is, I think there's like a power line down in that particular area.
Well, it went into me and destroyed me.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, hey, I can jump in sewage. Not thinking, I don't know if I missed a corner or something like that or didn't see some stairs, and all of a sudden I was just dead.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite things is eventually you're in the sewers at one point, and I didn't realize that there was a mine nearby.
Like a quarry?
No, like a
a fragmentation device.
Yes, like face front towards enemy.
Okay.
And I just got blown up because it was just 2 or 3 of them just in a row, and I was like, "Why am I blowing up? Oh, why am I still going forward? I'm an idiot." Okay.
Can you disarm them like you can in Fallout?
Yeah, you can you can sneak up on them and you can just grab them off the wall.
Oh, that's really easy.
Yeah, the way I do it is I crouch, I hold down walk, and I get as close as I can. And as soon as it pops up the prompt, I tap the action button twice, and it deactivates it, and it puts it in your inventory.
Speaking of walking,
Mm-hmm.
Adam, isn't really ever in too much of a hurry to get anywhere. That
No.
sprint button is really more of a soft jog.
Yeah, and the weird thing is it's not like most sprint buttons in a game. That's actually one of my few complaints about the controls. You tap it once and it just sort of like drains your meter. You don't have to hold it down, but I would prefer having to hold it down and not wasting the whole thing at once on accident because I pressed it.
Sure, or trying to do that weird like Mario Kart thing where it's like, okay, I'm now running until this is up. I have to just turn into a wall
Yeah.
and just like an idiot, just run straight into a wall for the 3.5 seconds that are left.
Yeah. But I mean, just like there's so much good. Like I love the shooting. I love the hacking. Everyone complains about the hacking minigame. I
likes
love
the hacking.
I love the hacking minigame in this. I mean, it's not an accurate representation, but what is?
Bioshock.
Oh yeah,
All hacking is water based.
Yeah, all hacking is water based and entirely based off the NES hit Pipe Dream.
Is that where they snagged that from?
Yeah,
okay.
That's literally just Pipe Dream.
It's fun.
It is fun. Like on its own, it's a fun game, but when it's a hacking mechanic, it's just real silly.
Well, but anything is better than that hacking from the old Shadowrun Genesis game.
Not anything. If you've not played Alpha Protocol, have you?
I did. That was when I think I only made it to Russia or China, maybe.
Yeah,
although I guess it doesn't matter. You can go anywhere. What was where you have to slide the words over?
Yeah,
you have to slide the boxes.
So it's this like giant grid of just moving letters.
Matrix letters.
Yes, but there's certain squares that are not moving.
See, I thought that was cool. It just sucked because it would have worked great with twin analog sticks.
Oh, it does work great with twin analog sticks, but it doesn't work great when like I don't know what it is, but like I can't just like not like I see my eyes drawn to motion, very much so. So if I'm looking for something that's standing still, I'm like less likely to find it. So it was just very frustrating for me.
I liked it.
It's not bad. This is still better than that.
Everything is divisive about that game. So.
Hey, exactly. So.
But yeah, the hacking was cool. It was simple enough that you could get it and quickly, but it was hard enough that when I don't know what they called it, the AI or something, would try and close off your branches before you could get to the nodes.
Oh yeah, it was basically just like a security watchdog software that would cut you off.
Yeah, it was. I liked fighting with that thing. You know what it reminded me of is the. I don't even know if there's a name for the genre, but it's like. Did you ever play Seventh Guest?
Yes, the FMV games.
Yeah. Well, no, not that. One of the puzzles in it. You remember the one all the way at the end under the microscope?
No, I think I never got that far.
Okay, well, there's blue dots and green dots on a grid, and if you put one of your dots next to another player's dots, it turns all the other ones to your color.
Oh, okay.
And then they get to move.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that, where sort of except you're both going at the same time. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, just like there's the plot and gameplay and just it's the little touches in this and just the amount of choice you have and just the freedom you have to do what suits your style of gameplay, minus the boss fights in the original. Like I said, if you're going to play this game, play the director's cut.
I think I would have had a much better shot with it there.
Yes, especially if you were specializing in hacking, because you could have just like been like, oh look, there's a computer over there, there's a turret there, problem solved.
Go get him, boy.
Yeah.
Was there anything besides the sort of sprint meter that you didn't like?
There's
everything.
there's a few things I didn't like about the game. Hi, Coop. He's like right here. So the amount of XP that's locked away in the hacking stuff, if you don't know to look for that and to just hack anything, even if you have the code, you're gonna miss a lot of potential experience points.
Which you need to start.
Yes, you absolutely
start out
need.
real weak in that game.
Yeah, and
I liked how they let you pick your loadout.
Oh yeah,
that was cool.
That was really fun.
They it's almost like picking a class almost.
A little bit, yeah. It was more like, okay, pick lethal, non-lethal. Do you want this gun? Do you want this gun? Then you can go to like black market dealers and get other guns and all that stuff. I'm trying to think.
The upgrade stuff was cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of stuff that like I really didn't like. Like I can't even think of anything like I sort of didn't like. So like
his Spanish accent's pretty terrible. Like, don't make. I don't know if it's because if they got a Canadian voice actor or what, but don't
Probably.
make this guy speak Spanish. He should not
Yeah.
be calling people cabrones.
Yeah, that
Like,
was pretty
you
bad.
better get out of here, cabron.
The voice
Really?
acting on Adam wasn't great, but I love it for how cheesy it is at times.
I didn't mind the voice acting at all until he started speaking languages he did not speak.
Yeah, there's times where it just feels like it's got that gruffness to it, but it's almost got this twinge of like '90s you know B movie action movie like quality to it. Like it's not bad, but it's not. It's kind of like, oh, that could have been executed better.
If you caught your kid making that voice, you'd probably sit him down and explain that you don't want to be that guy for the rest of your life.
No, you don't.
No.
Um, so the
How about those splash screens, huh?
which ones? Oh yeah, that
30
seconds
seconds.
in the
I
front
counted
end.
them. 30 seconds of uninterruptible splash screens.
Yeah, it's not great.
There's got to be a hack in the forums on Steam to get rid of that.
Oh, I'm sure. Or like PC Gaming Wiki probably has one.
Well, but every time I would, and my problem with those is every time I think, oh god, I hate these splash screens. I've already literally just started the game.
Yeah.
I'll worry about it next time I start the game up, or I'll do it after I'm done, and it never happens.
Yeah. There's some. Oh yeah, my big one is the ending. So the ending of this game, you can literally get all three endings of the game by quick saving before you go into the last room, and just literally it's just okay, pick an ending.
So that's very Mass Effect-y.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Now that I think about it, comparing the two is very, very, yeah.
You know
And
what
literally
game?
the only thing that changes is you get a different voiceover and a different like ending video.
So very Mass Effect-y.
Yeah.
You know what game did that I actually really liked that they did because I wasn't going to play through that whole thing again.
Yeah.
Was Singularity. Did you ever play Singularity?
Did not play Singularity.
It's a good pickup. It's hokey, but
I think I probably own it already.
yeah.
There's a fair chance that I do.
Throw it in. It's got some fun time rewind stuff.
Yeah?
But yeah, I did it with that, and it's just there are certain games I love that.
Yeah.
This might be one of them, but it sucks when something that and Mass Effect it's the same thing.
Hmm.
The entire game you've been making, or trilogy even, you've been making all these choices and all these decisions,
Yeah.
which I guess is very much the same thing as a choice. And then to just get to a coin flip at the end, it's like, well, okay, so none of that at all mattered then. And Deus Ex is
Yeah.
kind of the same thing, where they give you so much freedom, and then they go, yeah, but none of it really mattered too much.
Yeah, but at the same time with Deus Ex, there's this sense of really the moment-to-moment choices mattered more to me in this game. There wasn't as much of that in something like Mass Effect. Like you weren't choosing the path that you were going to take. Like when you went into a level in Mass Effect, you knew it was just going to be point and shoot.
Yeah, maybe I'm not explaining it well. I just
Okay.
mean that the sense of freedom in both those cases that they're trying to give to the player, they're trying to give you a sense of agency. And
Yes.
in Deus Ex, it's done in the gameplay and by the way you approach each room or section or whatever.
Yeah.
In Mass Effect, it's overall story, but at the end of the day, that's still sort of taken away when they go, yeah, there's three endings, they're all basically the same.
Yeah, I say I don't think the endings affect the Deus Ex choice system as much. Like, obviously, there's stuff that you're choosing that is going to affect the end of the story, and it ends up sort of not mattering. But I think those smaller choices of, okay, I'm going to take the duct instead of, shooting my way through, or I'm going to hack this instead of trying to navigate around it. I think those types of choices, I think, keep me personally more engaged, and since they're, like, immediately resolved, as opposed to, hold on one second. They're immediately resolved as opposed to like having these echoing ramifications. I think they're a little more satisfying.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like it's just the moment-to-moment stuff is a lot better in Deus Ex than it was in like Mass Effect. Like your choices moment-to-moment in Mass Effect didn't really matter. It was big moments in Mass Effect. It was like you get a flashing icon on the screen and you have to choose: are you going Paragon or Renegade? And in this, it's much more subtle and it's much smaller. And I think they made a good choice there because it really felt like a lot of stuff got cut near the end of this game's development cycle. I feel like they had a lot more planned for those endings.
Well, what I've just had an idea while you were talking, what would be cool, I'm not asking for a myriad of endings, but if they sort of were if you were that guy when you
Mhm.
got that achievement who didn't ever get seen, who
Yeah.
didn't kill anyone, like if that sort of went into the ending,
Yeah, that would be
like
cool.
even if they did sort of a modular voiceover piece like they did with Fallout,
Hmm.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
I would like to see that.
Yeah,
But
all the Fallout New Vegas endings were cool, where they sort of take you. It was like the ending of like God, what Animal
yeah,
House, where they tell you like what happened with every group and stuff.
oh, you went Animal House. I was thinking of not Lost Boys. Um, oh God, what was that one Will Wheaton was in when he was a kid? The Stephen King
Stand
movie.
by Me.
That's the one.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
thinking Stand by Me. Yeah, where they
Yeah,
just do a freeze frame on everyone.
yeah, it's the same concept. It's like this is what happened to this person. This is
Uh
what
huh.
happened to this person. That would have been cool for this game. Actually, I would have enjoyed that.
Yeah, it seems like it would dovetail real well.
Yeah. So yeah, there's not a ton I don't like about this game, but like I've said before, I'm super biased. I wasn't a fan of the Missing Link DLC. I played probably 2 hours of it when it first came out, and I was like, "Oh, you're just going to take away all my powers and make me start all over again?"
One of
Great,
those, huh?
yeah, very Mega Man. Not a lot of fun. I didn't have a
Mm.
lot of fun with the Missing Link when it first came out, which is why I was sort of hesitant to even really finish the director's cut, because I knew to finish the director's cut, I'd have to slog through that. So
Well, oh, that's right. That's right. You didn't actually finish the director's
yeah,
cut.
no, I
Okay.
finished the regular edition like 3 times when it first came out.
We covered most of my stuff. That loading screen elevator when you're in the FEMA factory,
Hmm.
where like I thought the Mass Effect elevators were bad. This thing probably, I mean, it's a slow elevator and it goes down probably 7 floors.
So I think that was partially to mask the loading screen, but also like if you're looking up the correct direction of that elevator, you see all this crazy stuff happening.
Yes, that's absolutely true. They, I think what they were going for is what BioShock Infinite did,
Yeah.
which is, here's the thing. Yes, there's a ton going on, but I don't need to stare at it.
Hmm.
Like I may as well have climbed a ladder down. That's how slow I was going. And man, he does not like ladders because he is not interested in being, or he must love them because he wants to just be on them forever.
Yeah, he's real slow about getting up those ladders.
And down. There's no slide.
Oh yeah, there isn't, is there?
So just if it's a loading screen, okay. If they were trying to get me to look at all this stuff, they probably could have chopped the time in half and gotten the same effect.
Yeah.
But that first boss, man, I had a sniper rifle, and I shot him in the face 4 times, and he just shrugged it off.
Yeah, man.
He doesn't ever stop coming.
No, he doesn't.
I blew up a fire extinguisher on him and unloaded 3 clips in his face, and he just then grabbed me by the neck, slammed me on the ground, and shot me to death with the minigun.
Yeah, that was one of those, like, that's real rough. That was one of the things that made me, like, kind of want to be like, yeah, let's maybe make this, maybe tell people just director's cut straight out.
Well, and I was armed to the teeth.
Yeah.
I mean, I had everything but a rocket launcher, and this guy still, I mean, I must have reloaded that 15 or 20 times.
Yeah.
And it just, nope. Oh, and thankfully it's skippable, but there's the cutscene every time you reload, too.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty brutal.
So you have him going, what was that? Well, looks like we got us a Boy Scout. Which,
yeah.
after that, I mean, that to me just needs that Cinema Sins, ding, just right after it, because, come on, guys.
Is it the last Boy Scout by chance? Are we in that territory?
I don't know. I don't know if it's that bad. But yeah, he actually says, well, looks like we got us a Boy Scout.
Yeah,
And then,
I remember.
minigun comes out. I hated him
Yeah, he's a
so
jerk.
much. So I either need like an augment that lets me get shot in the face 30 times or an orbital laser or something, because what I have wasn't working.
Typhoon, man. Typhoon's where it's at.
Well, I guess I'll have to go respec. But that was kind of all my super major beefs with it.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed that it beat me.
Yeah, don't let it
just
beat you.
broke my will.
Yeah.
But thankfully it wasn't real glitchy. Did you have a lot of glitches? I mean, aside from everything being yellow.
I think I had like a crashed desktop a couple of times when it first came out, but that was it. I've never really had problems with this game, which is surprising.
Any really awesome, funny, like the dogmentation? You see any of that I didn't come across? Or
So one of my favorite things that I did in the original was there's a point where there's these 2 dudes just on a basketball court, and you can pick
did you
up...
put the basketball in the hoop?
I did put the basketball in the hoop, but I also whipped it at him.
There's an achievement for that, and I believe
Yeah.
the text of it was, You sure do love balls.
Super classy.
And I will bet 90 minutes of my 10 hours in the game was trying to get that basketball into that hoop.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you came across these guys.
Yeah.
Or you just, was that it?
Yeah, I was just like, oh, cool, I can pick up the basketball and just whip it at him. That's fun.
Hey, you guys want to play? Pong.
Yeah. And just like the dumb stuff that you find, like there's clearly like a sniper spot in like a couple of areas where it's like, oh yeah, there's a sniper camping out here for some reason, and you get sniper ammo. Just like the little moments like that. Cool. Finding the evidence in the back alley behind the police station is really interesting too. That whole area is really just like, all right, cool.
Remind me what that was, because I thought I did it.
So you get like this like storage garage behind the police station, and there's just a ton of stuff for what's her face's mom. You're trying to find evidence on like her death, and like they covered a bunch of stuff up, and that's where like the plot starts to really get like, ooh, okay, what really happened when they invaded Seraph Industries that night? Because that's the whole plot of the game, is like you're trying to figure out what happened at Seraph Industries in that first mission, and why they came in, and why they killed these people supposedly.
When your love interest was, I mean, it was a former
love interest, yeah.
Yeah. She was the one who got killed, and those not paperwork, the hollow work that you're looking over is all talking about her, because they just, I forget what it was, they covered it up and like explained that she died some other way or whatever. Well, you were there, you knew what happened. Like it was really cool.
Yeah, it's very conspiratorial. It's very well put together. It's such a great plot if you get into the little minutia of it.
Yeah, I wanted more of that. I just couldn't get to it because there was a guy with a minigun.
Yeah. And that'll do it, man.
Oh, and grenades. He's also got grenades. That jerk.
Yep.
I didn't really have too much. I just had a couple of thoughts. I went and filled up. I told you I was going to run out real quick earlier while you were eating dinner.
Yeah.
And I went to fill up. I have never seen gas cost more in a game than it does in real life. I filled up for $3.25 tonight, and gas in game is $3.52.
It's like $2.55 around here, man.
Come out to Downers.
Oh yeah, that explains it.
So that was cool. It's not a glitch. It's just, how about that? That's pretty prescient. If these Purity guys spent half as much time on their cause as they did tagging everything, this would have been over in an hour. Like, I'm picturing like an Indiana Jones warehouse full of spray cans, like just as far as the eye can see.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was right at the beginning of the game. The dude pitches you against a wall. The big old roided out guy pitches you against the wall, and then shoots you in the face. And then you wake up, and they're like, "Hey, we put some new arms on you." Like,
they also give you a logo on your forehead.
You're sponsored?
Yeah, you didn't catch that?
I didn't even notice that. I was so drawn to the cheek glasses.
Yeah, they've got like the serif like symbol up there. It's not like quite the symbol, but it's like clearly like branded or logoized or something.
Oh wow,
it's crazy.
Well, they got to pay for all that. All that medical care somehow.
You bring up the Purity first thing. Like all I can picture is like that guy from the first mission, like in front of like 100 dudes, be like, okay, you 20, you come with me. The rest of you, there's spray cans in the back. You know what to do.
It reminds me of the Foot Clan in the 80s Ninja Turtles movie.
Yes.
Where we got this super badass gang. Why are we badass? Because we smoke. You want some smokes? This is what we do.
Regular and menthol.
Smoke.
Oh, man.
We got video games. That's what gangs do. Like, okay, you're not too tough, guys, but yeah, have your fun.
Yep.
We'll get the Futurama graffiti bot out here soon enough.
Yep.
But there was one other thing, and this is just me being nitpicky, because the localization sucked. But I found an email log that said Tigers versus Orioles in Series 7.
Yeah.
For one thing, that's 49 baseball games.
Yeah.
Another thing, the Tigers and the Orioles are in the same league.
Yeah.
They would never play each other in the World Series unless there was some catastrophe that took out a number of American cities and they had to condense the leagues or something.
Yeah, right. That's a good catch. I never caught that before. I don't follow baseball that closely, but
I don't
So,
either. That one was just a lightning bolt for me. I don't know. I don't know. I
Yeah.
played the show this year. I guess that's how I know.
Okay, there you go.
So
That
that's.
would
I
do
mean, that's. I wish I had more to say about the game. I don't, because I
it.
didn't play anymore.
Yeah.
You got anything?
My big thing is like it's a really great game. It's totally not for everybody. I really get that. Like I've told a bunch of people like, yeah, you should really play this. You should really play this, and they come back to me and they're like, no, you're wrong.
We're not friends anymore.
Yeah, like I'm like, what are you talking about? And I forget. Like, yeah, I did really slog through the beginning, but like I went through it because I had like 6 hours to myself to just sit and play, and I just got through it.
See, it seems weird to me that the same sort of knee-jerk reaction in your mind that would come up before you recommended Alpha Protocol to someone.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that doesn't kick in here too. That's kinda...
So it doesn't here because I like the story a lot more, I think.
Okay.
Like I love that conspiratorial. It's very much it's sort of halfway between Alpha Protocol's story and Metal Gear's story, where it's like where Alpha Protocol is just like, yeah, it's like your basic like, military espionage sort of thing, and this is sort of like a step above that, but it's not so far gone that it's Metal Gear.
Yeah, You keep bringing up Metal Gear. I know I'm fighting with that crazy sword running around Detroit.
I'd play that.
Yeah.
Someone's got to mod that in, man.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, I'll look around for it. But yeah, man, this is a really great game. I played a little bit of it. I didn't play as much as I wanted to, but man, I've played this game so many times. It's still my favorite game from that year, if not one of my favorites from that generation.
I'm glad it was the Game Club game.
Yeah.
Again, it's not off my hard drive yet. It was one of those where I played Deus Ex, the first one, however many years ago, 5, 6, whatever, long after it had come out.
Yeah.
I went, whoo, no. But I saw potential, like System Shock 2. I tried playing that.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't playing no System Shock 2. You can love it all you want. I ain't touching it because it's unplayable at this point.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, well, if they're going to remake it, well, look what they did to Bioshock. Like, that was super awesome. So maybe they can turn this around. And it's kind of, think I still have a lot of the same beefs I did. But for you, I will give it one more honest try.
All right. And trust me, you might want to try and just start it over with the director's cut.
All right, well, what are they going to get, another $250 out of me? It's the holiday sales, so.
Who knows? But yeah, I think that's all we got for this particular episode. You got anything you want to plug, Jay-Z?
Just the usual, Twitter, the other Jay-Z. YouTube, I've been putting some stuff up. I've actually been doing some streaming, because it makes the recording way easier.
Nice.
Yeah, there's not an hour and a half to an hour 45 minutes of video editing in the middle. It's super great.
Yeah.
So same name on YouTube, the other Jay-Z, that's Jzee. And, come to the forums. Mark yourself up on the map.
Yep, tvgp.tv/forums. We are there. I'm there practically constantly. And it's a good community. We're still relatively small. And there's not a bad apple in the bunch.
Yeah, except for my Knobs impression.
Well,
that's pretty bad.
That doesn't count.
No, it was terrible. So anyway, thanks for having me on, Hannah.
Yeah, no problem. As always, you can find everything about TVGP at tvgp.tv. You can find us on Twitter at TVGP. You can find me on Twitter at the Hannah, and I stream occasionally on Twitch, not as often as I used to. I'm always the Hannah, and I'll occasionally put out to Hitbox if I'm playing on a PC. So that's I believe is hitbox.tv. Whatever. I'm the Hannah everywhere. If you find the Hannah and it's not me, you can.
We want to know about it.
Yeah, you can report it to the FBI or the CIA or whoever manages that stuff. Anyway.
Adam Jensen just comes out of a vent and they disappear forever.
Yes, that's exactly what happens. Him and Solid Snake take care of the situation.
Yeah, so avoid any cardboard boxes.
Yes. And I think that's our show. Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.